Hello
wait
there.
a minute.
He's talking already, this guest tonight. He's going to be a superstar on this one. Anyway,
He
hello.
keeps popping up.
Thanks for watching or listening to VIP Boxing's Bell to Bell podcast, episode 137. You're either watching on YouTube or listening on iTunes or Spotify. I don't think we're anyone else, but if you can subscribe to VIP Boxing's YouTube site, that would be fantastic. Yes, if you're watching, please subscribe. You know me, Steve Lillis. You know John Evans. He's in the top corner there. Tonight's special guest you already heard from because he was talking when we started recording it. He's a fella who's going to have a lot to say. Then I reckon he's a. I tell you what, he's a proper face on the Manchester boxing scene. More than decent trainer. A bit of a big noise on the Ex-Boxers Association world, not just in Manchester, but all over Britain. And we're going to talk about that later. It's Ian Harrison. So we haven't got applause and dancers. So I'll just clap you, Ian, tonight. Rolls an amateur boxing club as well. And also professional trainer of Johnny Boy Kiley and super lightweight contender Kane Gardner. How are you, Ian?
Yeah, not bad, thank you. Yeah, doing okay, yeah. Been busy, been helping Anthony Crawler for a couple of months because I've got now to do in the day. So I just said to him, do you need me to give you an hand? And he said, of course I do, of course I would. So I've been helping him with the guys down there, William and Levi and James Moorcroft, who's a nightmare. And Rihanna, who's sweet as a nut. She's great, yeah. So, Bobby Faulkner, good.
You must have Kane back in training soon. Will he stay at Droylsden with you, or you take him down to Croller's gym? Because I think he's going to hopefully have an area title fight. Is it very early March?
Fingers crossed. He'll come to Anthony's with me, and also we've got his own gym. If we stuck really, I just want him to be in a gym where there's a few lads as well. You know what I mean? For years it's just been me and him. And I've got fed up with him now, so we're going to another gym where there's more company. I can have a chat.
And you've got John Boy Kiley out on the 9th of December, haven't you? He's back.
Yeah, he's back. It's a bit heavy at the moment, but the way it is at the moment. You've got to know him, and I know him.
Well, you've had him since he was from travelling stock. I think you've had him since he was a young lad.
Yeah, I've had him from being about 12 or 13, and I've had Kane from being 10-year-old. So they've stuck with me. Why? I don't know, but they have. Yeah.
Just give us an update on the lads, Ian, because Kane against Pierce O'Leary.
Yeah.
It looked to me, Ian, like he was boxing perfectly to your game plan. Yeah. Everything was going great, and then he got clipped with a left hook, and it just changed everything, didn't it?
Yeah, it just did. He just sort of withdrew, went into himself, and from then on, I think he was more disappointed at the end with the scorecards.
Yeah,
but I've looked at it a few times, and I'm honest with him, and he's honest with me. So, we just got to restart. And really, to be honest, that was his first proper loss.
Yeah,
because his other loss was Ben Fields, who he'd beat over 6 and then got beat on the 4. And the other one was the boxer where it was 3 threes.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really, that was really his proper loss. Yeah.
And how about Johnny Boy Kiley? He's exciting to watch him. He won the
little
he put on, and we'd love to see him back. But is he going to make a proper run of it next year, Ian?
Yeah, we're gonna go for it. I've asked Steve to get him. He's doing a 4-rounder, and then I've asked Steve to try and get him on the 2nd of March with Kane and get a 6-rounder. By then, hopefully, we'll get his weight down and hopefully try and get him back to super welter and, see how it goes. The kid works hard, so hard. He's so hard. He's up and down roofs and on chimneys. And Ian, I can't get there tonight. I'm just on this roof. I've got to finish it before I get paid. So it's a big struggle for him. It's for them all who work. You know what I mean? If they're not full time, they've got to get a job and sort of. Bobby Faulkner, he works his ass off, and he's in the gym at the night with the amateurs, the same as Johnny Boy. It's hard for him. It's hard, when they've got good talent as well. That's where they struggle. But if they want to do it, they get through it.
Oh, we'll press on with this pod. It's your first time on, Ian. I think you said you watched it a few times. We talked for 3 minutes, and then John will ring his bell, and we got to button it, even if we're mid-sentence. Well, we don't often, but he's going to make a big effort tonight.
Yeah, we've got to try. We're going
to do
it
it tonight, and if we're talking, you stop. So, John, are you all ready to start us?
Yeah, ready to go.
Yeah, you want to talk about Cameron versus Taylor this weekend?
Yeah, Katie Taylor, Chantel Cameron against Katie Taylor, the rematch over in Dublin. Big fight. It's going to be a big atmosphere, but I think it's going to be. I can't see another winner than Chantel Cameron. I think it's as much as Katie's done, as good as she's been for the sport. I thought the first fight where Chantel beat her on points, I thought it was so conclusive, and Chantel's only going to gain confidence from that. I'm not sure Katie's going to gain the power to hurt her, which I think she has to do. And I see Cameron maybe stopping her this time and winning even more clearly. Seems strange to say about Katie Taylor because that's her first defeat she suffered, but I just see Chantel doing a bit of a job this weekend.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there, John. Cameron's a good girl, and sometimes Katie might have just come to the end of not a career, but just to the end. She's met somebody who can outstrength her, out everything her. And, she's been great for the sport. She's been great for the female sport. She's been great. But, I think you're spot on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great first fight.
Yeah. Not going to disagree at all with you, John. And, you almost thinking, was it a majority, the first one, wasn't it? Yeah, as long as the judging is fair, I'm not sure whether she'll stop her. It'll be Chantel's night again, and it's mad to thinking maybe it just going veering slightly away. What a sport boxing is, you're not around forever. Although Katie's had a long career, and in 4 or 5 years, or 4 or 5 years maybe, this could be Chantel in the same position. Someone young coming along, these sort of things happen, and there's a new sort of person taken to the throne. That thought's always in me. That person almost comes to the end, and I think that's why they have these moments, boxers, and they don't think it's ever going to end. Some of them.
Well, you got Dubois wants to go and have a go at him apparently, and there's another, young talent.
I was going to say Chantel and Katie are from that first group of women that came through the Olympics and all that and went professional.
Yeah.
The talent of the new girls who are coming through, like Caroline Dubois, like Ellie, and like people like that, it's just a different level altogether. I think in 4 or 5 years, it's going to be there's going to be some real serious pieces of business in that women's fighting, isn't there? But
I mean, I've been working with.
I just think it's the end for Katie.
Yeah. I mean, the undercard's not bad. I fancy this Cully and Mould.
Great fight. And right. You know what? And it's a hard fight for Reese, but Reese, he's literally gone from one camp, only had a week off, and straight into another, so his weight hasn't gone. I just hope he gives a good account of himself, Reese. I really do, and I think he will. Anyway,
3 minutes.
We're over there. The bell's gone. Round 2 then. I tell you what, I want to talk about Cal Yafai, retired after his weekend loss to Jonathan Rodriguez. And in the way he spoke afterwards, I think he sort of knew the end was near. But, we're talking to the Smiths brothers. His own family's rich in talent with his 2 brothers. And what? He's one of those careers that's been understated. And it quite sad it'll be forgotten because he's an Olympian. He had a great amateur career. I think he was a really good Russian beat him at the European Juniors, whose name has just gone through the box at 2012 Olympics. I saw. You know what? Okay, I'm not going to say he was the greatest ever, but he still made 5 defenses of that WBA title.
Yeah.
I think 3 or 4 of them were outside the UK.
Yeah.
And then boxed all comers. Yeah. Amateur and Olympics. And as we do that, my wife's phone's going off right in front of me. So, he boxed all comers at the Olympics.
Yeah.
My wife's come in and got the phone now. This is what we do. We don't record.
Good
we don't
girl.
Edit these and all that. Yeah, good girl.
No. Life goes on.
Life goes on. But, look, I just think it's an understated career and one that people might forget sooner than they should. John?
Yeah, I agree. And he held that title in a real hard weight class. Flyweight was flying at the time, wasn't it? It's a shame he didn't do better against Roman Gonzalez. I think people would have thought better of his career if he'd made more of a fight of it, but Gonzalez was just too good, and Yafai was at the end. And it's a little bit of a shame his career ended over in California at 3 o'clock in the morning, isn't it? Rather than all where people might have just got behind him a little bit more. But yeah, he was a good fighter, Yafai. Underrated as well.
Do you think it was the weight, that super flyweight, that doesn't really get much interest?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's all the Mexicans and do you know what I mean? And the Japanese and that.
Yeah, you know what? You're so right, Ian. And you know what? I deserve a slap myself, really, because we had that great night Saturday, and I got up Sunday morning, and I'd forgotten he was fighting. It was only when I saw that he'd announced his retirement. So people, someone like myself who's praising him and has followed his career, forgot he was fighting, and that's quite bad that I did forget someone who works in the trade that someone like that was fighting. But you know,
because he didn't really have anybody in Britain, so he had to go fight boxers from other countries. You see,
the Charlie Edwards fight never happened.
Yeah, it never happened. No.
Maybe we see why he didn't want to fight Charlie now. Maybe if Cal knew it was coming to the end, he didn't want to go out losing to a big rival like that. So maybe now
right.
Yeah. Well, I liked him. Like I say, the other brother's very talented as well.
Yeah. Both. Round 3, Ian, you're going to lead us in. What a weekend of fights. Go on, far away, champ.
Yeah. It was one of them changing the channels every round nearly to Sky and then over to TNT, trying to look. But I mean, obviously, my interest over the weekend was young Zach Miller. With having him as an amateur, as this amateur senior for 5 or 6 years, he'd done a lot of work with me, and then decided to go over. And he went with the right person in Steve, looked after him well, and he did great. He did great. I thought he did great. I thought he did really well. I was really chuffed for him. Yeah. Especially to get that chance like that as well. Do you know what I mean?
He was brilliant, Ian, wasn't he? Brilliant. We knew he was skillful enough, but you don't know whether they've got it in him at round 7 and 8 when it got hard, because Colin started coming and Zach had it in him to dig in and turn it round. And well done. Well, it was a belting card, wasn't it? I was there in Manchester, and apart from the Anna Rankin fight, which was poor, and Dakers and Webster didn't really get off, did it? But every other fight, it was just a winner after winner all through the night.
Yeah.
Nathan Heaney, I'm Denzel Bentley's biggest fan, but Denzel had a stinker on Saturday, and Heaney turned it around.
I was so disappointed. It ended about 12:20, and at 12 o'clock, I thought, I'm going to bed because I can see what I was just so disappointed in him. Whether or not he's another one that's come to the end of the line, I just don't know. And Nathan Heaney, I don't know. But Denzel was very disappointing. Very disappointing. He'd either not listened to his corner and I just couldn't adapt to just couldn't adapt to Heaney. Heaney did okay. Did what he had to do. Yeah.
I just lost for words still on that performance, because on this podcast, we champion Denzel a lot. He comes on here as well, which is great. And we'll have to get him on soon to talk about this. But one thing I didn't think is that he'd overlook Nathan Heaney. I'm lost for words, and as you know, I'm still lost for words on that performance, because
coach is a very good coach, and that's where I'm surprised as well, because I think on the commentary, Steve once at the end said they did. He said they must have done. There's no doubt about it that they overlooked Heaney.
Well, you was with him all week, John. What sort of vibe did you get? Saw him a lot down the finish, Jim.
Yeah, I don't talk about when I sit with people on Fight Week. I don't talk about the fight. I don't talk about the weight. I don't.
I know that. But what sort of vibes just seeing them training? I mean, John.
They were in. Denzel's a good guy, isn't he? And it's just a shocker. But before we move on, we have to say Nick Ball looked a right handful. He dealt with a good guy there, and he did it in his own style, didn't he? He didn't temper it too much. But Harry Scarf as well. He didn't have to be horrible, Harry, did he? He did a right good job on Eckerman. Echo Esterman. I was pretty impressed with Harry Scarf, really.
Yeah. It was scarf was scarf. I just put it down. That was just the way he was, it and old, and just Clinton Mitchell did the great job telling it was down. And obviously, with being a corner man, I always listen to the corners and see where they sort of coming from. But Clifton Mitchell did a great job. And then you looked at Bentley's corner, and it was a bit of a scratch of an head. You know, what did they actually tell him? And yeah, I don't know. But yeah, scarf was scarf for me, really.
John, round 4, Tyler Denny.
Yeah, Ian was talking about fighters who had jobs and have to really put the work in. Well, Tyler Denny, what an example. You know, Tyler was cleaning toilets and doing things like that, scratching for an opportunity. He lost 2 English title fights, got over the line in the 3rd against Rivers Wilson Ben when he was bought in to lose, really, but he turned it around. Then he beat Brad Ray. Then he beat Brad Bowles.
Brad won that.
And now all of a sudden he's European champion. Incredible story. He's selling bundles of tickets. I don't know how far it'll go, but if he can hold on to that European title for a couple of years, he'll make a good few quid. And what an example Tyler Denny is. Great story, that.
I'll tell you what, Boxer might have a good thing going there in the Midlands with that venue. Because I've been to that venue when it was an old venue for boxing before they spent about 10 million modernising it. And I went there for a concert a few months ago. That venue is fantastic now. I think it's about 3 tiers of it there. And it's like, I think early in the Sky Night, they described it as a bear pit. It's incredible. There's a good thing going with Tyler there. And, you know, he's done it that old school way, Midlands English, and then Europe, you know, and it culminated in beating Signani on Saturday night. But what you mentioned, what a night it was also for Errol Johnson.
Oh, Errol,
him. He had 2 European champions and Nathan Heaney, Liam Davis, Nathan Heaney, and Tyler Denny. Fantastic. And I speak with Errol a lot, making fights. So you don't get a reply after time. But I messaged him yesterday. He said, "Well done." I've got to thank Steve back. Getting that off Errol, taking a bit of praise says a lot. But no, fantastic achievement by Tyler. And it just what we were talking about last week, John, was that was picked up by a lot of people, especially you and Carl were going on about these kids nowadays. You don't have to be an amateur superstar to make it. He's done it on Errol's small shows. He's must have been in that hangar in Wolverhampton and these places around the Midlands to do it. Brilliant story.
Another kid who's full-time work and had to, you know, work round his work to do the boxing. And I was chuffed for him, I don't know him, but obviously through the boxing, chuffed for him, really chuffed for him. Yeah.
And what a belt, Ian, as well. What a belt to win European middleweight champion. What prestigious title.
I know people who have won that in in our history books, British guys, Kevin Finnegan, and great.
Yeah, you know
brilliant.
what?
Minter, man.
That's how you say them names you met. I was thinking of them. I'm on the latest Bald Bulletin. There was quite a lot of EBU title fights coming up for British fighters, and it's brilliant. It's being used again in Britain, the EBU titles. It wasn't for a while. There was all sorts of fringe European nonsense being nonsense. You're making fighters money, so I shouldn't call them that, but there was all sorts, and it was like, it's like with all these European titles now, the real one, the EBU, it's like back in the 70s. And you remember back in the 70s, if you won an EBU, it would automatically make you number 3 with a WBC. It was your step. It was like your world title eliminator.
Well, it was the old fashioned way. You sort of did central area. There was no English or anything, and then it was British, and then it was European, and then you was on the fringe then of a world title, and there wasn't all these ABC world titles about. There was proper world titles, so a lot of them went that route, and some tough men in the 70s and 80s. Brilliant.
Round 5. Tell you what, Shakur Stevenson got some stickies fight last week. I saw a few people describe it as one of the worst fights they've ever seen in world title fights. I just wondered if you had one that sticks out. I'll go back for mine. I was there, and every time I see a stinker, I always stick with it ever better this. January 1991.
1990. Yeah.
1990, I think it was, January 19. You've got it, ain't you? WBC.
WB cruiserweight.
You got it, yeah. Carlos De Leon and Johnny Nelson.
God bless
I mean, you.
It was. Oh, when you told me that we're going to do the worst fight, I didn't see that Shaka, and that one, boom, just boom right in my head, and I thought, wow.
You're the season champion. Pure Johnny was so young, about 22.
Yeah.
I think he'd lost about 5 and won about 13 when Barry Hearn got him that shot.
Yeah.
And I was at Sheffield City Hall that night, and
that was.
I felt for him because De Leon refused to fight, and Johnny just couldn't on the night. Johnny gets a lot of stick, but he still won abroad and won fights and had 14, whatever it was, world title defenses. That night, he just froze.
I can't remember if it was in the old fight night. It was on Granada telly. I can't remember if it was, because I remember watching it.
It was a Monday night. I think it was when in Barry Hearn's very early Sky days or Screen Sport.
Right. It was on Summit, yeah. It was.
That's the worst I've ever seen. What's the worst you've ever seen? Sorry?
And he did doing the splits. He had the dash shorts on and doing the splits.
With all the tassels on them. Yeah,
years ago, and you can just remember as if it was Saturday night.
It was a Monday night and it as well, but you can remember it so well. And I didn't even prompt you to say that. Yeah, you had the right year, so it stuck with you, Ian. John, what stinker have you watched, John, that you've got?
I love the cruiserweights, but I've got another one. A Coley against Matty Askin.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
Now we all know Matty, and we all like Matty. But he had a nightmare that night, didn't he? Coley was just clamping him up and holding him.
Yeah.
Wembley Stadium, 80,000 people.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there were 8 people left. It was absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, I can't remember who Matty was with then. He wasn't with was he with the Jenningses?
I can't remember, and I'm not going to watch it to find out.
Just to find out, no, give that a big wide berth.
Any other stinkers with you, Ian? Or are you with me on De Leon versus Johnny?
Nelson, that's got to be the number one. And even if you go on Google, if you Google it and you see the paper reports, the Sun and all that, they slated it. They slated it. It was,
There's been some shocker. I will never in my life watch Fury against Vladimir Klitschko again. But it had that element where Fury was upsetting the champion, but it was a stinking.
Well, it wasn't great. Just one.
De Leon, Nelson, and asking a call if he had no redeeming features, did they? Yeah. There was no drama or no excitement or no.
But Coley's been in a few.
Oh yeah.
Coley's been in a few. He's not just that one, mate. He's been in a few. He's. I don't think the Bill and Smith one was great. That was a bit.
Oh, that was a shocker. Over again there, time.
Right, we're on the final round. This is your moment, Ian. Xbox. Well, I want to ask you a couple of questions. Xbox Association. Tell us about how they're thriving or not thriving. Talk about the Manchester, and give John and myself an invite to that Christmas party at that pub near Strange Ways, Nick, where you all go.
Yeah, well, Xbox as you know, I write the newsletter. We have Eddie Copeland, who was a good fighter himself. I didn't realise that Eddie Copeland, he was our president, he was on the undercard of Alan Minter and Marvin Hagler.
Was he?
Yeah.
At Wembley.
So I've been telling us some stories about that, and it's been great. But we've got a meeting on the 3rd of December at Cheetham Hill at the Derby Arms, where we have our meetings, the first Sunday of the month. And then this Sunday we've got our Christmas party, which is it's a great day. We have an entertainment on. We have a buffet. We call 1 or 2 celebrities. We try and get down. Rihanna Dixon's coming. James Moorcroft's coming. Anthony will be there. William will be there. We're trying to get Kane. Johnny Boy will be there. Lads from other associations, Alan Richardson and his gang from Leeds, they'll be coming. And we give 10 bells to the guys who have passed away this year. And we give sort of funding out to some of the old guys who were on, I've had a few hard times, but it's a good day. We have a few acts on. And it's just a time when everybody can get together and just have a chat about the boxing and buy each other a drink. And Yeah, and do that. I try and invite as many people as I can. And that's probably about it. And then we have what we usually do on our monthly meetings. We've been getting a few guest speakers. So the first one we had was Steve Foster, which was, we couldn't shut Steve up. He just went on and on and on, but everybody was just listening. It was brilliant. Then we got John Murray on, and I thought, John, because John used to box with me
John's
when he was
a brilliant speaker.
yeah, and it was so enthralling. He's got to come back and do a part 2. It was great. It was great. He was just telling sort of how bad the sport was for him to how it is now. He's penniless and he's had all this money and that, but it was great. Then we had Willie Warburton, because he just reached his 100th or 200th fight, whichever. He come and give us another brilliant talk. And last month if we don't have a guest speaker, I set a quiz for everybody, which is dead easy. What colour are the traffic lights and all that? And they still get it wrong. So I do a quiz, and then the last one we had Steve Egan on. And Steve was great. He was telling us about John Fury and Tyson Fury and how he set out, and it was great. So we're waiting now. I think this one I'm going to try and get Joe Pennington to come and give us a talk, and Dale Harrismith, because I've known Dale since he was since he was 10-year-old. So he's going to come and give us a chat.
Dale can tell the story about his fight in the away corner last week, can't he?
Oh yeah. Oh, what was I don't know about that.
Where he got the draw when he was 2 rounds down.
Oh yeah. He was 2 rounds down, and I made the fight actually, so I was there.
Right.
He weren't too happy with what the opponent said to him during the second round, and he just thought, basically, you got to show a bit of respect for people like me, 100 fights in. You know, people like myself, Jordan Granham. You know, Lee Allett, we come and do our job, show the respect. So what he did, he went and won the next 2 rounds handily. Could have stopped the kid in the 3rd round, but thought, I'm not totally going to mug you off because you sold the tickets. But just made sure he got the draw.
I took him in a couple of times. I took him in Scotland, and he fought a good Scottish kid, and it was nearly enough the same as that. I thought he got a draw, but obviously we was in Scotland, and he got beat by a point or 2. You know what I mean? But he was all right, Dale. I've known all the family all my life, all their life. His grandma Pat, I've known her all my life, and his granddad Roy, who passed away. Known them all, know them all. I know all the kids. I've known them all. All the Murrays box for me. Alfie Burton box for me. I've known Anthony. Me and Anthony's dad were both amateur in the same amateur club. Me and Anthony's dad,
really,
and we.
Wayne turned over as well, didn't he? Yeah.
He had the same manager as well. Yeah, same pro manager.
Just
me and Tommy Battle. He's my best mate. We boxed a couple of times each other, so we have a great relationship, me and Tommy.
Just going back to the ex-boxer associations.
Yeah.
Are younger boxers, when they retire, going to the EBAs, or do you worry for the future, because there's so much more in life now, than what there was. I mean, I know, I see your pictures in the Manchester. You send me the newsletter, and I see all the pictures on the social media. But I don't see too many recent fighters there. A lot of fighters from the 70s, 80s, I've noticed there. But I'm not seeing too many the last 7-8 years. Is it hard to get guys that have gone by the way to go?
Yeah, it is hard. I mean, it's only once a month. And I say to them, it's only once a month. You can have once a month out of your life just to, or your working week, or just to come. And like with the Christmas part we have had, and we say, bring your families, bring your kids, bring your wife. And hopefully that gives them that impression that, it's good this. We just come. It's only a couple of hours. We start at like 1 o'clock. Eddie gives his talk on what the monthly meeting was about. We introduce people. I have a buffet, and that's it. you know, a couple of amateur coaches have been coming along. Steve Strong, Gavin Stirrup, a couple from Borshaw have been coming along. Mark Mulligan. So it is hard trying to get these younger ones. I think the Johnny Case has been coming a couple of times, but it's just hard. It's just mithering them and pestering them. Please come to the meeting. Come to the. I will. And then
we'll put it out, Ian, and we'll tell everyone to get involved, and if you want to pop along to go. Yeah,
a lot of the VIP fighters, you know, Jamie Moore's been in the years. Jamie's been, he brought his British, when he won his British title, he brought his British title and that. So we have had him in the past. It's just now, but like you say, Steve, about the future, it is going to be hard, you know. A lot of them are 80s. Jimmy Lewis, who had Anthony and Dental Vassell as amateurs winning the EBAs, he's now in his 80s. Our chairman, and you know, people like myself who are in our 60s. In over 10 years, you know, we want these ones who are coming up to 40 and 50-year-olds to come, but we'll keep trying. We won't what's the name. We have a lot to do with the ringside charitable fund, the wrestling care, which is a great thing that they do, and it's something that is needed. Just a little story. One of our members, we love him to bits. And he was 60 last month. Kevin Taylor, I don't know if you know Kevin Taylor.
Weight or bantamweight Rochdale,
Kevin, one of my best mates, sparred with him loads of times, and he's going through the dementia bit, and he's only young, 60s, only young in it to get the dementia, and it's the sort of thing like that we do for people like that, keeping them active. He'll hopefully come to the Christmas party, and he won't know anybody, but he will when you say who it is, and he just goes, oh yeah, did it, you know what I mean? And that's what we're trying to do for boxers, because it's a short career, it's a lonely career, it's an hard career, and we just want to help people, help the older ones, and hopefully help the younger ones as well. We can help them as well, you know. Yeah.
Ian, thanks for telling us about all that and talking about the EBA, because that was one of the main reasons you know you wanted to come on and speak, and you got your point across there. Well, not point, but you know, described it all very well. So, Ian, thanks very much for coming on. You've got to get back to Droylsden ABC now to train all your kids. There'll all be mayhem in there tonight. They'll all be sitting around waiting for you. John, thanks as always, and
John.
I'll see you next week, John. And I might pop there. What time is it at the Derby Arms on Sunday?
Sunday. This Sunday is the Christmas party at the Lightbound Social Club over at Newgate down there.
Austin, all right. I might pop along there for an hour.
And then the meeting is the 3rd of December at the Derby Arms on Cheetham Hill Road.
Right, all you ex-boxers in Manchester, Ian's told you where to be the next. Well, get to one of the next 2 Sundays if you can.
Please, get to one of them. You'll enjoy it. Have a good. We make a good welcome of people. You know what I mean? Yeah. Brilliant. Lots of photos and brilliant. Yeah, make a bit of a fuss over them.
Ian, thanks very much. John, thanks very much
for inviting me.
Nice one, Ian. Nice one, Steve.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Steve. See you later.
For all boxing info, news, and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.